Hi, and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm sharing with you a sweet treat that you can make for someone special this Valentine's Day, or if you just want to treat yourself, my easy chocolate chip cookie dough truffles. These chocolate chip cookie dough truffles are an old recipe from Taste of Home magazine, but they are tried and true. I've been making them for years. I had them first at a family reunion, and they're one of my family's absolute favorites. So we're going to make them today. So recently there's been a little bit of controversy over whether or not it's safe to eat raw flour. So today I'm going to bake the flour for this recipe at 350 degrees for about 5 to 7 minutes, and that should make it safe to eat no matter what. Honestly, I still eat cookie dough raw. I don't really have a problem with it, but I am going to be sharing these this weekend with my sister-in-law who's pregnant, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to test this little baking raw flour method. While my flour is kind of toasting in the oven, I'm going to mix up my butter and brown sugar, which I have in this mixing bowl here. So it's 1 stick of room temperature unsalted butter and then 3/4 cup of light brown sugar. So I'm just going to cream those together with my hand mixer. To my butter and sugar mixture, which is nice and light and fluffy, I'm going to add a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. Now, if you've never had sweetened condensed milk and you don't have time to make the cookie dough truffles for your sweetheart this Valentine's Day, just give them a spoonful of this. It is incredible. It's really thick and sweet and rich. It is amazing. So we're gonna add this in. And I'm just gonna tell you now, I'm gonna be licking this can when this is all said and done. Okay, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. A little bit more, that's fine too, tastes good. And then we're gonna mix all that together. My flour is finished baking in the oven, and just remember that's a totally optional step. There's no raw eggs in this recipe, and if you're comfortable eating raw flour, go for it. I am typically. Remember, this is just for my sister-in-law who's expecting. So I had read, this was from a Cooking Light magazine article about toasting the flour to make it safe to eat. And I had read that after it bakes in the oven for like 5 or 6 minutes, it kind of tends to clump up. So I just grabbed a fork and I'm kind of, I don't know, whisking my flour around, for lack of a better word there. But honestly, there aren't really too many clumps here. So it looks like it's gonna be easy for me to just pour it right into my mix. And I toasted it on a piece of parchment paper. So I'm just gonna pick it up and kind of drop it into my bowl. Okay, so that was 2 cups of all-purpose flour that I added to my mixture. I'm gonna use my electric hand mixer to incorporate that, and then we're gonna add the mini chocolate chips. I'm really curious to taste this batter as it is, just to see if the flour, having been kind of baked or toasted, gives it any of a bit of a different flavor. Not really. Tastes about the same. I wasn't sure if it was going to have like a little bit of a nuttiness, kind of like when you brown butter and it gets kind of toasty and gives it a nutty flavor. They kind of taste the same, but they taste amazing, so I'm okay with it. My final ingredient is a 1/2 cup of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. So I'm just going to sprinkle those in, and then since the pieces are pretty small anyway, I'm just going to continue to use my hand mixer to incorporate those, but it won't take long, so don't overmix it. I'll just do a quick little mix here. It's pretty thick, so I'm on my highest setting. But just like that, they're all incorporated. So now we're going to scoop them out into truffles. I have a cookie tray here, not the same one that I baked the flour on because that was warm and I don't want this mixture to melt. So I switched it out for a cool cookie tray and I lined it with parchment paper. And now I'm going to use my tablespoon cookie scoop to measure out my cookie dough truffle mixture. So I'm just going to place a scoop just like that on my tray. And it's not like we're baking these, so you don't have to put a lot of room between them because they're not going to spread or anything. We're just going to pop them in the fridge or the freezer to set up. I scooped out all of my cookie dough truffles, so now I'm going to pop them in the freezer just to kind of speed up the process. You can also put them in the fridge for a couple of hours. We want them to firm up so that we can roll them into nice round balls and then dip them into melted chocolate. It only took about 15 or 20 minutes for my chocolate chip cookie dough truffles to firm up in the freezer. So what I'm doing now is just using the heat from my hands to kind of smooth out the edges and form them into more even balls so that the chocolate coating will go over them nice and smoothly. So those are all done, and now I'm going to dunk them in my melted chocolate. I have 24 ounces of almond bark here. This is milk chocolate, and don't be alarmed, there's actually no nuts in almond bark. It's just something that you use to make like a candy coating with. It melts nice and smoothly and evenly. If you want to, you could use milk chocolate chips or even like dark chocolate chips, whatever you like. And if I use those, I like to add maybe a tablespoon or two of vegetable shortening to kind of get the same consistency as you would from candy melts. So I have a fork here. I'm going to place one of my smoothed out truffles onto the fork and just dunk it into the chocolate, coating all the sides. Okay, and then I'm going to tap my fork on the edge, and this is called sheeting, so the chocolate is sheeting over the top, and you're trying to get a nice smooth layer over top as best as you can. They're homemade, they can be a little rustic. All right, and then I have a toothpick, and I'm just going to use that to help me slide these back onto the cookie sheet that they came from. And there's my truffle. Now I'm just going to do all the rest. My truffles are all set up, and I even found some really cute red sanding sugar that I use to sprinkle over top as a little decoration. Just make sure you do it while the chocolate's still wet so that it adheres to your candies. So now I'm going to give one a taste. Just like cookie dough. Oh my gosh, these are fantastic. These are going to be a perfect Valentine's Day treat. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and find me on Instagram at Anne's Family Recipe. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon with another family recipe. For the full recipe, check the description box below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen.